that you make it. I feel like a maze, I can't see a way out. I've been stacking face down off canvases I painted. I just spent the rain day on drip I can't afford, but that's the price I pay for the memories I'm making. I've been going places, I've been shaking hands for a chance to really make it. This life is so abrasive, so I almost gave it. All this that I'm making.
Welcome to today's episode of Grind Hard, Hustle Smart with me, Charles Johnson. Ladies and gentlemen, I am dropping a bonus episode. Yes, I am giving you all a bonus episode, which will be out, well, now. Since you're listening to it, now. That's when it'll be out. What am I thinking? I'm dreaming. Speaking of dreams, that's what we're talking about today. We're living in a dream world. And I honestly believe that's a place where we should all inhabit. That's where we should all be. If we're out there truly chasing our dreams, that's where we should be. And this episode is going to be a little weird. It's going to be a little short, but it's going to be a little weird because we're going to talk about everything that has to do with a dream. What is a dream? The complications of a dream. Who plays a part in your dreams? What's the difference between a dream and reality? What parts of your dreams are playing out in reality are only playing out in your dreams? And how do you make the two the same? Ladies and gentlemen, dreams are funny. They exist both in fantasy and in real life. You have to be asleep to interact with it. Also, most people will not believe that your dream actually will ever happen or has happened. Dreams are a selfish thing. They don't have any other active players in it. Like, there's no real protagonist besides yourself or antagonist, which can also be you, but more than likely, it's usually some demon or monster, the devil, somebody you hate, but that's really it. There's there's no ensemble or cast or crew, no craziness like that. And you're usually the only one who can control your dream. You can control when you wake up, you can control what happens in it. It is really up to your imagination, how wild your imagination goes. And there are people, much like life, who participate in the dream, but then fade to black. And there are others that stay to the end. Or if your dream ends prematurely, you get woken up. You ever had that real good dream, like you're a millionaire and you get everything you want in this world? You're driving a nice car, living in a nice house, and then something goes bang in the night, or your spouse or your kids wake you up, or the alarm clock goes off and it's time to go to school or work. Don't you hate that moment? But those people usually stay to the end. And your dreams are your problem. They're selfish for a reason. You ignite them. You are the catalyst for them beginning, i.e. going to sleep. So therefore, they are your problems because they only exist in your mind. And dreams are much like life. They're an example of life. They're a microcosm of life, if you will, meaning that the dream that you wish to become tangible or manifest in the real world, i.e. reality, is your burden to bear. And no one cares about your dreams. I don't know if anybody has ever told you this before. And this is going to sound blunt, and it's going to sound callous and cold, and I don't care. But I'm telling you, nobody, no one on this planet cares about your dreams more than you do. And no one on this planet is going to help you bring your dreams to fruition or make them tangible or are even equipped to bring these things to fruition other than you. So if you give up on your dreams, that's why they die, because they're your dreams. They only exist inside of your mind. They're selfish. They only pertain to you. They don't include a vast sum of people. So what do dreams ask you to do? You have to ignore reality to even imagine what can be. You got to walk around with the blinders on so that you're not distracted, so that you can stay in the moment, that magical moment. How many of us has had that dream where we're running from Michael Myers or Jason, Freddy Krueger, some horrific monster, and we can't seem to wake up? That's the thing about life. We often get in bad situations or bad circumstances, and we just want to wake up from that bad dream. Well, what do the laws of nature tell us? For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Meaning, if you have a bad dream, guess what? You can have a good dream. So therefore, we have that dream where, and life is crazy this way, where it's easy to get into a bad situation, hard to get out of it, and hard to get into a good dream, and easy as heck to get out of it. I mean, that bad dream when Michael Myers has stuck you with the knife for the 52nd time, and you feel every jab, and you're trying to wake up out of that dream, and your body refuses to wake up. Whereas you can have the private jet, you can have the maids, the servants, the pool with the warm water, with the endless pool, the big mansion, the Maserati, whatever dream car you have. And it's so easy to wake up from it, isn't it? I mean, somebody sighing or rolling over in their sleep can wake you up from that dream. But dreams are funny this way. And this is the reason why I bring up dreams, because I was sitting driving home, and I was thinking to myself, we don't give dreams enough significance. We don't look at the parallels that dreams often show us in life. One of the craziest phenomena that always happens, have you ever had that sleep paralysis? That moment where you lay awake in bed and you feel the weight of the world on your chest and you can't get up, and the only thing you can do is whisper? Well, life is that exact same way. That is an example of fear. How many of us are walking around like zombies, paralyzed? We can't breathe, we're anxious, nervous, fearful of what's to come. We're paralyzed by fear. We don't make choices. We refuse to put ourselves out there and take that risk. Many of us need to start dreaming as if we were a hero again. As if we were that person who had all the options on the table, where nothing was off limits. There was no limit to our intelligence. There was no limit to our talent. There was no limit to our skills. There was no limit to our opportunity. If you dream it, you can achieve it. How many of us has heard that? But we've lost faith in that. We stopped believing it. Because dreams are funny in this way. Like I said in the beginning, they happen both in fantasy and real life. How many of you out there right now have a dream that you've been fighting your entire life to bring to fruition? But you keep paying attention to the constant horror that is life going on around you, and you have constantly been exhausted and plagued by sleep paralysis. You're just walking from day to day like a zombie. You have the weight of the world on your shoulders and your chest. You can't move in either direction, and when you yell for help, it only comes out as a whisper. I'm telling you, you can break free. You can break free from those moments. Because what you often don't realize in those dreams until after the fact, when you experience that sleep paralysis, regardless of how you feel in that moment, if you are in ultimate control or you are experiencing sleep paralysis, guess what? You are still in control. That's the part we don't realize. That's the part that we don't understand. And we forfeit control the moment we decide to paralyze ourselves in fear. To decide that what's real and what's happening in this world is the reason why our dreams cannot happen. Just like you can be Superman or Superwoman in your dreams, you can be Superman in the real world. Sure, maybe you can't fly. You can't physically fly like a bird, but you can go save the world. You can go save an individual. You can go save a kid's life. You can take off that regular persona that is Kent or Clark Kent and put on the costume of Superman and go save one person at a time, teach somebody something, show somebody something, mentor under reached population or youth. You can be that Superman and that Superwoman. People do it every single day. The difference is that when they see reality, they put on those blinders that I spoke about earlier. And they keep charging ahead in their dreams selfishly. But too often, we are paralyzed by fear, and the people who in our dreams were supposed to fade to black, we keep them around. Ladies and gentlemen, we all have those people that have existed in our dreams, and we do not remember those people or who they were or what they looked like when we woke up. The reason being is because they played a significant part at that particular time in our dream, and then we were supposed to forget that person existed. Not everybody's meant to reach the end of your dreams with you. That's just a fact of life. Everybody does not endure to the end. Everybody doesn't make it. Everybody's not supposed to make it. And then you have those people that make it to the end, that believed in your dream as much as you believed in the dream, even if they weren't in control of the dream. In your dream, they had your back no matter what. That those people in that dream played a significant part in the success or the failure of your dream. And in those moments of horror, where we're experiencing that sleep paralysis or that monster is chasing us, how do you feel? How do you feel in that moment? Vulnerable, scared, petrified, paralyzed? And then think of that moment when you face that fear head on and you win. You become the hero of your dream. The victor in your dream, in your mind, in your world. Why can't that happen in actuality? Here's another crazy thing about dreams. In order for us to dream, we have to be asleep. We have to fall asleep in the real world to wake up in a fantasy world. Did you know that you can do that vice versa? That every single day, the things that you have, the dreams that you have, the aspirations that you have, the goals that you have, the things that you want to accomplish right now in this real life, you don't have to go to sleep to real life to accomplish them. You have to go to sleep to the reality that not everybody's going to believe in it like you do. You have to go to the sleep with the reality knowing that dreams are selfish. Everybody's not meant for the journey. That's crazy, isn't it? But many of us refuse to wake up. We'd rather stay asleep and believe that everyone has our back. That this world that we live in is somehow some utopia, and that when we start publicizing these things, that everybody's going to jump on board. Everybody wants to see you succeed, when the fact of it is that the people who are chanting you on, some of those people want to chant you on so that you can fall flat on your face. You might even have people in your life right now that are boosting you up just to see you fall real far. That's the crazy part about it. Because this is real life. And life is finite. It ends. It's not like a dream. How many of us have had that dream where we wake up and then that night we go to sleep, we start where we left off at? That's an infinite dream. How many of us have dreamed the same dream for years? Life isn't that way. Every day is a new day. Every day is a new opportunity. But it has consequences. It has tangible consequences. Things happen. But we got to wake up and realize that these risks exist. Understand that our dream is our dream for a reason. It only exists in our head. And it's our responsibility and no one else's to see them through to the end. And that some people need in our lives to fade to black. Become a figment of our imagination, a thing of the past. A remnant of what has happened to us. Not everybody is meant to come to reach to conclusion. Some people don't even make it to the summary, to the climax. the crescendo. Some people are just needed for the introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, this is something that we all need to come to grips with and realize. Dreams are a funny and serious thing. Like I said, they exist both in the fantasy world and real life. But there are some of us who have somehow been able to make the two the same. They've made the two the same. All those NFL players, all those MLB players, all those MLS players, all those rappers, singers, performers, entertainers, actors, congressmen, anybody who has ever had any aspiration to attain anything great, it existed in the fantasy world before it ever became tangible. I'm pretty sure Michael Jordan saw himself dunking from the free throw line way before it even happened physically. It happened in his head, in his mind. Then he went and worked at it. He grind hard and hustle smart until he was able to do it in the real world, manifest it and make it tangible here in reality. That's the power of our mind. Oftentimes we see it in the fantasy world in our sleep, long before we see it come to fruition. Do I see myself on par with the Joe Rogan Podcast? Absolutely. Do I see myself on par with Eric Thomas, Les Brown, Tony Robbins, Trent, Shelton? Absolutely. But I have to be willing to grind hard and hustle smart every single day to get to those points in my life. And they're my responsibility, my burden to bear. And it's nobody else's responsibility to buy into what I'm selling at all. Wake up from this fantasy world that we're all living in. The world doesn't owe you anything. If all the horrors and monsters that existed in our dreams were actual things in real life, there would be a lot of dead people walking around. A lot of people void of dreams and hopes, aspirations. A lot of people not willing to take a risk. You know what? I think that has come to pass. There are people walking around with Micah Myers on their back each and every single day. Freddy Krueger on their back each and every single day. Walking around in fear each and every single day. Wake up from that stuff, man. It doesn't exist. Let that sleep paralysis go. It doesn't matter if you're the victor or the victim of your dream. Guess what? You're still in control of how it ends. Dreams are funny that way. There's no other hero in your dream. If you're going through some extreme terror in your dream, guess what? I promise you it always ends with you either A, being the victim, or B, being the victor. And it's completely up to you how it ends. Oftentimes we dream ourselves to be the hero of our situation. Imagine if we took that same energy into real life. We worked every single day to be the hero of our day. Even if you don't project years from now. You know what? 15 years from now, I'm going to be the man or woman of my dreams. Start today. I'm going to be the man or woman of my dreams now, today. When I go to bed tonight, I want to ensure that I was the victor of the day, that I conquered my dream of the day, that the demons that were existing and hanging on my back, giving me a burden of the world on my shoulders that existed right now in reality today, that they did not defeat me. I defeated them. I'm the victor of my dreams today. I'm the hero of my dreams right now in reality today. Start today. Be the hero of your dreams today. It's possible. You're the only active player in your dream. Everybody else is just an NPC. A non-playing character. You're the only active participant in your dream. Everybody else is just coming and going. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an awesome episode, hasn't it? This is a dream. I think I'm dreaming. I think I'm doing exactly what I was set out to do from the very beginning. I think I set out to have this podcast publicized in multiple countries. I think I, dreamed that you would be listening to this at this point in time in your life right now. And I would be the one speaking to you at this point in time in my life right now. I've seen this before. I'm having deja vu. I've dreamed this. This is how you make your dreams tangible. This is how you manifest them. I've dreamed about this long before I ever made it physical. Sure, I might not be talking on stage to thousands of people, but people, guess what? God always has a plan. And guess what? Right now, I'm talking to thousands of people around the world. Whether it be on Instagram, Facebook, or here on this podcast. I'm talking to thousands of people around the world. The podcast, my Instagram page, has allowed me to use those platforms as a stage because they are platforms. They're platforms. I remember I had this argument with God one time. And I said, God, if you wanted me to be a freaking motivational speaker, then give me the stage to speak on. And he told me this. He said, if you want to speak, then go speak. Don't blame it on me. If you want to speak, speak. I gave you the talents. I gave you the skills. I gave you all the tangibles and intangibles. I gave you the tools required. If you want to speak, speak. But I was dreaming. Because I was so busy depending on other people to make these moves for me that I refused. I was so paralyzed by fear that I would not do them physically. I was living in a dream world where I believed that, yes, even if I was the only active participant, that somehow other people was the cause of my problems. The reason for me not voicing my voice, not using the platform that I had already been given, that was literally at my fingertips. I can't even imagine where this podcast would be if I had started doing this back in 2015 when I knew I had the ability to do so then, but I lived in fear. Man, dreams are funny, aren't they? They exist in both fantasy and the real world, and yet they work the exact opposite of one another. In the real world, you have to wake up from what's actually happening to you to make your dreams come true, and realize that the only person who's responsible for your dreams is you. And in the fantasy world, what do? We got to go to sleep in the real world in order to let our imaginations run wild in the world, to be in the world that we always imagine ourselves being in. When we could make the world that exists in fantasy exist in reality. That's the crazy part about dreams. You dreaming about being a NASA astronaut, guess what? You can make it tangible. You dreaming about being a teacher, guess what? You can make it tangible. You dreaming about being a rapper, guess what? You can make it tangible. You dreaming about being an NFL star, guess what? You can make it tangible. You dreaming about being a top tier podcaster, guess what? You can make it tangible. You dreaming about being a top tier motivational speaker, guess what? You can make it tangible. You dreaming about making a comparison, or what's the word I'm looking for? Be a novel writer, something to compete with the likes of Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, huge world-renowned novels. Guess what? You can make it tangible. You can make your dreams tangible. They don't just have to exist in fantasy when you go to sleep at night. You can cross over and make that thing reality and just put on your blinders and get to work. Grind hard, hustle smart. That's all you have to do. I don't get on this podcast and just tell you things that I just think about randomly. I dream about these things. There's episodes I've dreamed about those things. And I bring them to you and I make them tangible. You know, this previous episode, the one that published yesterday, or this morning, excuse me. And I gave a shout out to all those countries, be it Australia, Bulgaria, Nigeria, Singapore, the United Kingdom, United States, the Philippines. I've dreamed about being in those places. I still dream about going to those places physically each and every single day. Obviously, I live in the U.S., but I've never been to the U.K. I've never been to the Philippines. I've never been to Bulgaria. I've never been to Nigeria, but guess what? I will be there physically one day. I will be there physically one day because I'm going to make my dreams tangible. I'm going to take them from fantasy and manifest them into reality. Because just like I'm in control of my dreams in the fantasy world when I lay my head down in that pillow at night to escape my reality, when I wake up, my number one goal is to take my dreams and realize that I'm also in control of my dreams here in reality. And that I can manifest those same dreams that I had in the fantasy world, in the reality world, because God made me in his image and I am a creator. If he can create, therefore I can create. Ladies and gentlemen, man, I love each and every single one of you, man. I really, really do. I'm not even bull jiving you. I love each and every single one of you. You have no idea. Like, man, the love is immense. You know, I really do get a kick out of it. I love doing this. I enjoy this with every fiber of my being. But let me leave you with this quote. And you hear it on mostly every episode that I have. And that's this. Each generation has an Independence Day. A day when they relinquish the identity of the past. A day when they overcome unbearable obstacles. A day when they decide to make their own way in the world. A day when they take ownership of their own lives. A day when they change the trajectory of their lives. A day when they determine for themselves how valuable they are as individuals. Impossible is just possibility hiding in plain sight. Impossible, ladies and gentlemen, is an imposter, a thing to distract you from what you can be, who you can be, and what you can do. It is a lie the world tells you to keep you trapped in your own mental jail cell. Everything on this planet is impossible until you do it. Impossible is the lie you tell you to keep you from being great because you are afraid of change, afraid to fail, and afraid that you just might be great. Ladies and gentlemen, I love each and every single one of you. Each and every single one of you. But all good things must come to an end. And so, I just want to give a shout out to everyone again. You know, I want to make this a habit. I want to make this a habit, man. I think you all need recognition. I don't think oftentimes, for those of us who operate on these platforms, give the listeners, give the people, the fans, their just due. Oftentimes, you go uncredited with your accomplishments and the things that you have helped those of us who are, you know, participating in this media, this medium. You know, you don't get your just due. So I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to go down the list again. Again. I'm going to give it to you. And I'm going to give it to you raw. Hard. Cold. Motivated. Fired up. Fired up. So let's go down this list again. Give a shout out to all my people in the 50 states of the United States. Thank each and every single one of you for supporting me. I really, truly enjoy it. Ladies and gentlemen, I love each and every single one of you. Every one of you who has listened to this podcast here in the U.S., give yourself an applause. Thank you, and I love you. Ladies and gentlemen, give a shout out to my folks in Germany, Deutschland. Yes, Germany. my next biggest audience. I appreciate and love each and every one of you. Auf Wiedersehen. Let's give a shout out to the third biggest audience, and this is the newcomer, but it is spreading this podcast is spreading there like wildfire. Let's give a shout out to my people in the Philippines. How do you say? Magadang Araw. Let me give a next shout out to the Irish. Let me give a next shout out to the Irish. Ireland, I love you. Canada, what's up? What's up, The UK. I love all of you. Nigeria, I do not like to play games. Nigeria, I love you. I love each and every single one of you. I do not like to play games. I love all of you. When the sun goes up and when the sun goes down, I love you. Australia, how you doing, mate? I love you. Singapore, what's up, Singapore? I'm going to visit there one day. It's a beautiful country. Bulgaria, what's up, Bulgaria? And last but not least, Denmark. Denmark, I love you. Give an applause for Denmark. Give an applause for all those countries that I just named on the listeners list. The listeners, this is the geographical location of where my listeners are. I can pinpoint it by state and region and district and all those things, but we'll be here all day. But give a shout out to all those people. And if you know somebody who is not listening to this here podcast, what are you waiting for? Get them on this podcast now. Get them listening now. Right now. Today. Now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your call to action. Please take this time, if you haven't done so already, and download this podcast, share it with your friends, and add it to your daily routine. You can find me on Spotify, Apple, Google, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and many, many other podcasting platforms. Ladies and gentlemen, the podcast will be up today on YouTube. You can look up the same name that I'm talking about right now, that I'm talking to you, the same podcast, Grind Hard, Hustle Smart. That's the exact same name of the YouTube channel. First episode, first video will be up today. Please go over there and show your boy some support. And you can watch me doing this very episode live, in person. You can watch my gestures, my behaviors, everything right there in person. Please send me some support. It really does go a long way. Please also leave a review. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know how I can be better, do better, better serve you. That's all I want to do. And last but not least, let's all wake up from these dreams and make our dreams become tangible in the real world and get to work each and every single day, grinding hard and hustling smart. Ladies and gentlemen, I love each and every single one of you. Have a good one.
Come and go like a rah. They don't want the two be going nah. I'm coming back with the money in the bag. The rubies in my lap, yeah, I'm running for the cash. I come and go like a round. Putting in the work like I'm way behind. Still trapping on the low, lurking in the mode like I'm running from the popo. Yeah. Remember when we did it for life? Was noticing all these frames got me trimming a knife. Always on some new thing like riding a bike. Let's do things in one setting, but I don't feel like selling for the time being. When I was young I used to dream about the palm trees. After the summer achievements I got a long sleeve. Supposedly, think about it, in reality you running out of options. Starting to see the coffin with the Bible preach. I'm way ahead on a private beach. My hair bleached on the cover of a magazine. I got the flavor doing push-ups on the coca bean. Doing all the things you can't imagine what it might be. All these women trying to write me. I get the message now, I know they wanna wife me. And not to mention all the bruises, I just went through all the heat. I broke through all the edges like a right cheek. Yeah, I come and go like a rah. They don't want the two be going nah. I'm coming coming back with the money in the bag. The rubies in my lap, yeah, I'm running with the cash. I'm coming gold like a rah-rah.